Welcome to Woodbury University School of Business monthly Thought Leader webinar. It is our distinct pleasure to present to you our Thought Leader of the Month, Dr. Marc Lampert. Dr. Lampert is a native of sunny Southern California, and his undergraduate degree came from California Polytechnic State University of San Luis Obispo, beautiful place too, the School of Engineering, as an industrial technology major. Several years later, and while working full-time in the corporate world, Dr. Lampert went back to school and he obtained an EMBA in business management from Pepperdine University in Malibu. For his terminal degree, he received his doctorate in instructional technology and distance education. Dr. Lampert has had two main professions: a college professor in business and accounting, and an engineering consultant for the U.S. military overseas bases. Dr. Lampert also does charity work for FIRST as a First Senior Mentor, FSM, a nonprofit organization for K through 12 graders that educates students in the world of robotics, or robots, business plans, and community outreach. On his free time, he is an avid ocean sailboat racer. Dr. Lampert is also a published photographer, and he has worked as a still photographer on 12 movies. We wish you all a pleasant and insightful experience in the coming hour. Dr. Lampert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Marquez. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, thank you, great. All right, so I actually changed my title. First, welcome all for attending this for this presentation. I greatly appreciate it. I was given this task and request about a month or so ago to work on a presentation, and I haven't done many presentations at our university, and I was expressed that it was going to be put out on the net. So I thought, well, I might as well gear it a little bit towards what I know and towards higher education, but not 100% towards academia. And going back and forth and toying with this, my original title was originally a discussion on STEAM and why we need business majors within these disciplines within industry. However, you can see by the title, it was changed. I changed it just a few days ago to a discussion on STEAM and why we need business majors within the entertainment industry. I switched it because I really like discussions over just one person speaking, and also because we are in Burbank, California, pretty much the heart of the entertainment industry where the big six lie here, such as Warner, Disney, and others. So I geared this entire presentation about that, and I'd love to have discussion input from those that are here on the site today to help further provide information that I may have left out that also know this area. So what I'm going to do is go slide by slide, of course, but before I do that, I like to always give credit where credit is due. And you're going to be watching a 4-minute video that will go into the next of the presentations. So the music artist is Nigel Stanford, and the cinematographer is Timur Sivan. And about 5 to 6 years ago, they put a video together, which is about using STEAM in the industry. So on our campus, we do a lot. We have film majors, but we also have a making complex for the School of Architecture. And on that School of architecture making complex, we have an annex room that has a KUKA robotic arm. That KUKA robotic arm is used in our design computation program, and students learn how to code in KUKA, in Grasshopper, in Python, in Rhino, C+, and various programs. However, for this video, the KUKA was used for something totally different. And now I'd like to jump into this video. So sit back, enjoy, and I hope you have a great quality stereo system, because it's unbelievable if you hear this through the stereo. Can I have a thumbs up if you can hear it? Thank you. Okay, great. So I hope you enjoy that video. Just a show of hands, has anyone ever seen that before? No. Okay. So I thought that is something to display because it really sets off what I call STEAM. Now, we have STEM programs at Woodbury University, quite a few, and most campuses do these days, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. The acronym STEM uh, was started in actually 2001 from the US National Science Foundation by a Dr. Judith Ramley. She coined that expression back then, and it's taken off ever since. The reason why they came up with it actually was to provide and give the United States an edge in academics against other nations. And that's why they came up with that acronym STEM. About 10 to 12 years later, the word STEAM came in play, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We don't know who came up with that. It was not the US government, it was somebody, and it just derived. So for our industries here in Burbank area, we'd use a lot of STEAM because it really takes the arts side to help fill out the STEM to create these incredible videos, such as what you saw. If you don't mind, I'd love for you to unmic for a second. And just out of curiosity, how many KUKA robotic arms do you think were used in that video? Can anyone give me
It
some
depends
estimate?
maybe on whether everything was recorded synchronously or in sequence. And I don't, could be anywhere between, I think, maybe 3 or 5.
I concentrated on 2 only. I saw only 2.
Okay. Anyone else? We have 2, 3. How many others?
I think 2.
Okay. There are actually 3, but on the video, it looks like there are actually 9. We had the piano, we had the drums, we had the keyboards, and then we had the robot looking at Nigel when he was creating the set. However, it was done with a lot of green screen, a lot of crafts, and a lot of input on the computer science majors of the world to help create these special effects that were given on there. The process took actually 1 month to make. Using what I have here on the screen. So these are just some of the departments that go into making this type of professional video. You can see it here. I don't have to repeat it, but it's quite a few departments. And within that department, we have several people. Now, what it takes for making and distribution of a video like this, what do we need? It's really important to take business classes or consider a business major in creative and technological industries. Why? Well, many people come to California, they want to be in the music industry, and they find out that it's a little more challenging than they thought. A lot of people want to become actors at first, and then they want to in front of the camera and they go behind the camera. Well, inside there, everyone needs some type of management. And I broke down, for instance, our classes of what we have here at our campus that would work in the entertainment industry. If on my bio that Dr. Marquez first brought up, at the end of it, she said that I have shot stills on 12 movies. And I started that because of it was a hobby of doing photography for myself. And a good 20 plus years ago, my older son at the time who was in preschool, the children had to watercolor picture frames, and then they wanted a parent to photograph the children. Nobody wanted to, because there were a lot of entertainment people in this particular school, and the parents didn't want to take photographs. They thought they'd be embarrassed. So I stepped up to the plate. I said, sure, why not? Next thing I know is I took the photographs, and some of those famous people started asking me to take family photos, do other photographs, and then started working on movie sets for full feature films. So I was doing that as what I call a hobby profession. I've been on billboards with it. So I know a little bit about the industry, but I don't take credit. It is definitely not my emphasis in my profession. But I've always been intrigued with it, and I've always enjoyed it. My last photograph was actually published about a month ago. So I'm still doing it, but not as much in the entertainment area. So we have communication and marketing that plays a big area in entertainment, and of course in industry and in commercial and corporate life. And so I broke it down a little bit on some of our areas here. We have what we call Management 301, organizational communication and principles of marketing. And in that, we have different career examples that are necessary and that we can get careers from in some of those classes, which are marketing, social media, digital design, public relations, press relations and marketing, and how these impact the industry, what we want from those professions, such as providing understanding of the audience, improving the communication of ideas, maximizing the utilization of avenues and tools available, and also to improve impact of sales. For us, for the entertainment, it's the distribution of the video or of the films. And again, I have a lot of esteemed colleagues here this afternoon, so you're welcome to please start a discussion and start communication. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just start discussing in agreement or expanding on this. I would really greatly appreciate it. Other classes, accounting, financial accounting for decision-making, cost accounting, and financial management. I had a guest speaker come from Warner Brothers Studios just last week into one of my classrooms, and that individual spoke for about an hour and so in mid-management on international production sales at Warner and what they do in that job position, who are the subordinates under that management position, and what do they use. And although that individual had a background in accounting, economics, he's predominantly doing accounting with his management and heavy use of Excel spreadsheets. So for him, he was telling the class that before you leave and acquire a position in any job, if it's in business, you really should have an excellent understanding of the Excel system and also with formulas in Excel. Any questions on this or comments?
I have a comment about the Excel.
Yes.
A lot of our students they graduate in accounting. They have secure great jobs and they do not use Excel. They use other programs, but I believe when they explain to me what they're doing with these formulas, I believe it's like, just an extension of Excel and they call it something else.
Yes.
So I still tell my students, we might not have those programs that I use with large CPA firms, but we can always learn Excel and then it should be easier to learn those other programs.
Thank you.
But the bottom line is Excel is not the number one now for accounting. That's what I want to say.
Right. Great, thank you. All right, the next one is, and then we go into Management 336, Management Information Systems, and this is where we do communicate using Excel, Word, and PowerPoint for to communicate what we want to convey to other people, such as today, this is actually PowerPoint that we have used, and I embedded the link to that video within the PowerPoint itself. The other one is Foundations of Information Systems, which is in our Business Communication Information System courses, and programming. As you can see on that particular video, it did take quite a bit of programming. I was told it was in RoboDK. They used C++ programming. I don't want to put Thomas Chapman on the spot, but Dr. Chapman, do you have anything to say, or Dr. Sam, on how that could have been used on that particular video that we just saw?
Sure. Thank you, Mark. First of all, I'll leave my camera off if that's okay. It's just for bandwidth. But yeah, all our majors, as you mentioned, learn not only C++ programming, which is applicable across many different areas of media arts, including application programming, but also, if you're doing lead-ins or anything like that, anything on a CGI basis. But our majors also learn Python programming through the core classes, which is vital for data science. And I see there that you have one of the impacts is big data and AI, right? Both Python and C++ programming can be used in those capacities, but Python in particular is useful for big data and AI. So absolutely, our majors are well placed to work in this industry. I appreciate your highlighting that.
Okay, thank you. In addition to that, what the production studio is looking for are analytics. How many hits? How many viewers? And I believe that would also come from CSDA, which is out of one of our other schools, which would be Dr. Sam. Would you be able to explain a little of that, if you don't mind?
Sure. Thank you, Mark. Wonderful presentation, connecting all the business and the STEM fields. And like you mentioned in the C++ programming, and we have Core 101, 102, Python, which is also very, very powerful tool for any major business and industry and data analytics, business information systems. When I taught the management 609 course, there we used the Python as well as Excel spreadsheet. In fact, Excel spreadsheet is so powerful. Once they learn that, they can learn any other tools available for accounting, business management, and marketing. And I think the programming problem solving is crucial for all, whether they've been expert in programming or not. But C++ and Python are very powerful tools for all majors, and especially when they come into business. Interdisciplinary is the key. Business and data science and design computation, you name it, and business managers all going to combine all these skills, and they'll be better leaders.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Sam.
Sure.
All right, so involved with that also, because it's a video, we have a lot of people on set, not only behind the camera, but in front of the camera, and we have to have a team to manage everyone. We also have legal counseling and project managers that get involved. in this industry. We want global expansion. We have to be within a legal compliance. There is crisis management on the sets. You saw in that they actually did use lasers. And also when they took the guitar and they smashed it against that glass table, it actually did not break. And I know it looked like it did. So what happened is the table was so strong, it actually broke the guitar and not the table. So what they did is they thought about it. And as Dr. Chapman said, there was some CGI involved. When the electric guitar came or the bass came down to hit that glass table, there was actually a drilled out hole with a toggle bolt and a brick and a lever, and they pulled it down quickly and broke the table with the brick when the table hit it, when the guitar hit it. And so under CGI, you can never see that, but that's what happened. So crisis management in that area would be potentially in the health area. They have negotiations, event production, the talent management, the actors, in this case, it was just one, the project manager, and of course, partnerships that are involved. A lot of entertainment lawyers come from business side, and then they go to obtain a secondary degree in law. Okay, then we have, of course, our human resources for the talent recruitment, training, compliance, and ethics. There are other courses that we have in management, organizational behavior, business ethics, which Dr. Holt, I believe, teaches, managing workplace and diversity. So again, in the entertainment industry, it's very well known that there's a lot of equity, diversity, inclusion. There are staff program managers just for that. And there are ethic officers now in place, because what have happened in the past in the entertainment industry, we're trying to absolve that now with new staff on board and new people in different positions. So what are we trying to do on that? Well, we're trying to have harassment prevention, cultural sensitivity, ethical decision-making, gender and pay equity, and of course, crisis management. Dr. Holt, if I miss anything, you're welcome to divulge on this area.
You're doing a wonderful job, Dr. Lampert. Keep going.
All right, thank you. I'm actually coming towards the end of my discussion here. And now I have my Q&A. And do we have any questions right now? Any questions, discussion?
Dr. Lampert, I would like to, first of all, thank you for highlighting all the majors and talking about our potential impact on the entertainment industry. How do you see the entertainment industry changing as a result of technologies like virtual reality and that sort of thing? And where do you see the various majors contributing to changes in media arts and the entertainment industry?
That is right now one of the hot topics that initially caused the strike that lasted almost 5 months. And I just love to know, I will know in about 2 to 3 weeks, I can actually answer that. Right now I cannot, but I will hear firsthand from primary sources what went on behind the scenes and forward. And I'd be happy to follow up on this with us at that time. Right now I cannot provide a truthful response for you, Dr. Chapman.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it.
Thank you. But one thing though that I noticed you said something in our discussions a few weeks back, and it was about AI, is that AI, that it's perceived in the public image that AI is what we notice in the movies, such as what we just saw this afternoon. on this video where the robots took over, and the Nigel is looking all of a sudden very stern and going, "What's going on?" The screen starts blanking out, and the robots look like they're looking at him, and they start, of course, taking over the set and start with the lasers and destroying the instruments that they were originally playing with. That is AI science fiction, because AI is only what is provided. It is not learned. If I am correct, Dr. Champman, on that, such as in ChatGPT, it's looking for sources and combining what is already existing. It's not making up its own from scratch. It doesn't have its own memory to learn and perceive things. It just takes what has been provided.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, right now AI is not capable of what we would think of as reasoning, human level reasoning. What generative AI does, and Dr. Sambasavim can support me on this or correct me where I'm wrong, but what generative AI does is combine information according to its own particular algorithm in from various sources that already exist, you know, on various repositories of human knowledge. But currently AIs are not capable of what we would consider human level reasoning. So, you know, that's sort of the big debate going on in the field right now is how close are we to that point? Have we reached that point? So on and so forth. To continue with sort of the theme of your talk today, we had a very interesting discussion today in my IT ethics class, ethics of IT and the law, where we talked about the ethics of IT and the big questions that need to be asked about AI, and are those questions being asked for products like ChatGPT? And yeah, very fruitful discussion. So our students are engaged in really the you know, the edge of the wave, as it were, in terms of how people are beginning to think about AI. So, Sam, did you have anything that you want to add to that?
Sure. Dr. Lampert, first of all, I want to thank you for your presentation, how you combined everything needed for the entertainment industry, business, accounting, management, programming, problem solving, leaders. So I think you put it all together in such a way that all our students can benefit how we offer courses at Woodbury. That's number one. Number two, the sense of interdisciplinary is the key. Everybody comes together, the business, programming side, communication side, ethical side, artificial intelligence side. I think you put all of them together. It's a wonderful combination for our students, what we offer at Woodbury. So thank you for that. As far as the artificial intelligence, I think Dr. Chapman, Dr. Lampert, what he said in the sense of the data is available there, but the machine cannot think like a human yet. That's what they're hoping for, but it's not there yet. It's everything is given data. Data is so humongous. That's one thing advantages when compared to 20 years ago, small data. Now we have lots and lots and lots of data. There is no memory issue. And ChatGPT is one example of that. I even using that in my machine learning class. ChatGPT is a test it. Given this problem, what has it done? Python, for example, ask ChatGPT, write a Python program for small problem. And 90% of the time, it solves it. The bigger problems you cannot solve, but at least simple problem solving, simple programming, it does. So I think thank you for all our business leaders can benefit from this presentation, how we combined all the disciplines and what we offer at Woodbury. Thank you for that. And Dr. Chapman, everything what you said about artificial intelligence, I agree, and it's going to come more and more. AI is going to dominate all the industry, not only entertainment industry, all the industry. So we need to follow that, not ignore that. I think sometimes we feel that, oh no, we don't want to use ChatGPT. I think we should use it, but you have to use the right way. That's
Thank
my
you.
2 cents. Yeah.
Thank you. One more thing on ChatGPT. I did mention that, or Dr. Marquez mentioned that I'm a competitive offshore sailboat racer. 2 of the people that are on my crew, I had a crew of 11 a week ago on my boat. 2 of them work for Hulu and also DirecTV. I'm sure we've all heard of those companies that are streaming, and all through satellite, of course. They pre-strike, we were talking about ChatGPT and how it affects their industry on writing. And what was happening in COVID is there's a lot of writing partners that write material for movies, and several becoming sick, so they weren't able to have their fellow colleagues with them. And so they were using ChatGPT. They would write and then submit it through ChatGPT and compare and contrast the chat creation, their own creation, to help them. They were missing that human component in ChatGPT, but it helped with the organizational structure. And so they used it to help them out, but it definitely could not do it on its own, but it was helpful. When their colleagues came back to help write, they actually went back to one-on-one and without ChatGPT, but it did help them a little bit in the way of writing the screenplays. Okay. Is there
Dr.
anything
Lampert,
else?
to add to that ChatGPT, there is a
Yes.
course called ChatGPT Mastery. Anybody can take that. Anybody can take that, and then they can apply to whatever they do. Not just to the text that a lot of people think that, oh, just put the text there and it gives the, no. I think there are a lot of tools available under the ChatGPT, all majors can use, and business leaders can use. But it's going to be very useful no matter which area they're working on. Entertainment industry, business industry, medical industry, any industry we think of. So actually your presentation can be all the industry, like you had in the first time, the title. You have the entertainment, but I think it's all industry that's applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you very much. Anything else before we close out?
I do have a question, if I may.
Yes.
I'm looking at this and I was really, really enamored by the video, and at the same time, a little sad. And I'll tell you why. I saw only one human being, and we have 8.1 billion in the world. And as we grow as the human population in the world, I'm thinking, what will our future be if everything is being replaced and with more precision than what we can bring forth? Look how beautiful the music was, and it was written by people, it was programmed by people, but at the same time, at a certain point, we become discardable. And then that kind of made me feel a little sad in my heart too, and think, I know this is the question that a lot of people keep asking, are we not making ourselves obsolete? So I'm throwing that again, and I know that especially our IT and data people, probably Dr. Sham and Dr. Dr. Tom and Mr. Victor and probably Dr. Lampert may not necessarily agree with me, but I just am not there yet where I realize, and I see the beauty of it, and at the same time I have a little bit of anxiety.
So it took about 100 people to create that short video.
Right. Oh, that may be.
So you only see one actor who's also a composer and a musician, but there's 100 people almost 100 people that it took to compose, distribute, and market that. Not only that, it took a manufacturing plant with people to create the Kuka arms.
Mm.
It took people to create the Sennheiser instruments and the other instruments that were there. So we're just looking at one part of it as a viewer, but the other end was, how many people did it really take to create the cameras? That's by hand. To create those beautiful bass guitars, electric guitars, it took handcraft. That wasn't on a production line. So it took so many people for that one set to create. As a viewer, we only saw one individual.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark, those are excellent points, and of course, all true. It truly does take, you know, quite a few people to produce something of that quality. I think what Dr. Marquez is voicing is a legitimate fear. I think it's a legitimate concern that if you polled most people about, you know, their feelings about emergent technologies, and in fact, the research does show that many people share those same concerns that Dr. Marquez articulated. So I think it's important for us as AI researchers and social scientists to engage the human question about, you know, how as AIs do advance in their abilities, and in their sophistication and in their subtlety, you know, how we need to ask important questions about, you know, how much of the technology do we want to implement? And one of the things that we talk about in computer information systems is always this question of, you know, addressing the particular problem domain with the right solutions. And those solutions are not always technological solutions. Those solutions are oftentimes people and management. That's why our discipline is often also called management information systems, because we work at the intersection of technology and human beings. And like I said, the correct solution for any given problem is not always a technological solution. Sometimes it is a human solution. And so I think that going forward, to sort of address Dr. Marquez's question, we need to think about the ethical implementation, or the ethical implications rather, of addressing those concerns, because they are on a lot of people's minds. So everything you said, Dr. Lampert, about how it takes a village, it's all true. I for one am not, I don't want to say overly, I don't want to say I'm not concerned about you know, human replacement in terms of labor, you know, people being moved out of a job because a machine could do it more efficiently. Industrialization has shown that that's a valid concern, right? And that's a significant concern. But what I will say is that all technology is a mirror of the human condition. Whether you're talking about emergent technologies like digital realities, or you're talking about blockchain, or you're talking about artificial intelligence, all technologies are simply a mirror of the human psyche in so many ways that matter. And this is why computer information systems has intrigued me all my life, because we stand at the intersection of human psychology and technological implementation. And you know, and so it's important to always consider the human aspect in whatever solution you're adopting for a given problem domain, whether that is AI or, you know, whichever technology it might be. So
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Marquez, for bringing that point up. I think it's a
You
valid
both.
concern.
Thank you both for an answer. My concern is not completely gone, but I do, the one thing that I want to say, the last thing that I want to say is, yes, indeed, it took a village to create all this, but the people that create all these elements, these instruments and whatever, also create or somebody creates artificial intelligence to help create these instruments in the future. So then we don't need people anymore to make those guitars and those tables and all that, because we will have artificial intelligence to do it. So that is my concern, that on the long run, if we continue, then yes, there may always be a use for people, but there may be a use for fewer people. And then we have the dichotomy that we keep procreating, but fewer of us may find work. That's just the only concern, but I do believe that it's beautiful, and I trust that we always find positive solutions to issues. Something new will come up that we can do.
Thank you. And I just want to say, everyone, thank you for the discussion for this presentation. To me, it just brings life to it, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And otherwise, I'd like to say good night to everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Lampert. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.